Okay. Right, thank you for that. Okay, Westport Fishing School, we're going to go through a brief history, a few points of interest, talk about our programs with our students and how we achieve what we do, a few barriers. So first of all, students coming to the school, our mission statement for them, or our promise to them, is out of your comfort zone into your future. We want to get them down to the school, do what I call take the bubble wrap off them, start to make them look inside, challenge themselves, get them right out of their comfort zone and see if they've got what it takes at the end of the day to make it out in the seafood industry. The main purpose of the school is to recruit, train, supply new entrants into the fishing industry, and more specifically the deep water sector. I believe that the deep water sector offers long-term sustainable employment, good starting wages, the ability to move up from what I call skilled entry-level labour through up to key roles within the industry, and this adds up to lifestyle along with good wages, and it's very, very powerful for young people. It's an opportunity that we're very pleased to present to them. The school was founded by Mickey Ryan. First courses were down in Westport in 1988. He had the school for about 12 years, made the decision to sell at that point. I'd been associated with the school for a long time, decided to buy, and I took over as owner and director in the year 2000. Right, drug testing, some of the controversial issues. During Mickey's time, with the support of the industry, he introduced drug testing into the programs. It was well supported by industry, but objected to by quite a few people and other stakeholders. Objections were soon overruled, and the drug testing remained. It still remains to this day. So first for New Zealand, a very, very important step in providing those essential crew for the industry. 2009 made the courses alcohol-free. It's not quite as it reads. There was no drinking during the programs. What it actually did was curb the students' social life. We had a drug-free environment. The students were coming down, they're running riot in the town, going to the hotels, and it was starting to impact on their ability to teach and just stress for the staff. So we made the decision to ban alcohol, and we now have complete drug-free and alcohol-free courses. Residential programs, it's a great tool, and it sets the right standards for learning. Right, stakeholders, industry point of view, our main support for work-based training and employment would be Sandford Sealord Tallies, and we make use of Tallies factory in Westport. That's crucial for the learning as well. The funding, the Ministry of Social Development, we have a long-term contract with them. That's our bread and butter. Te Hokai Moana provides fully funded scholarships for Māori wishing to enter the seafood industry. Sandford Sealord and Tallies again with scholarships in various forms and supporting industry training. NZITO for the funding that also supports industry training, and the Tertiary Education Commission, which provides youth guaranteed funding programs for 16 to 18-year-olds. Recruitment, we're around about 85% Māori on our programs, 80% North Island. We recruit mainly from the limited service volunteer camps. They're 5-week military-style camps run at Trentham, Hobsonville and Burnham. They're great. All the students in there are there by choice. They're under military discipline and they're pretty receptive to any opportunities presented. So we'll go along and lecture there to take interested people, screen them against the Maritime New Zealand Fit and Proper Person Act. There's no way we want to get a student onto the program and find out after the event that they're prohibited from entering the industry, so we don't want to set them up to fail. Most of the students are unemployed prior to Westport. In recent years, unemployed has changed from long-term unemployed, the stereotype, almost beyond help person, down to people that are between jobs. Most of the students have worked within the last couple of years, most have worked within the last year, and they're really looking for a different opportunity. Right, when the students get into the school, I say they're a bit like a leaky bucket. They have the potential to become useful. They need relevant skills to do that, skills that will gain them employment, the right attitude, and all cemented together with teamwork. We try and work towards achieving that. How do we do it? Essentially, it's very, very simple. There's no computers in the school. It's all activity-based. We want to engage the students in practical activities. They need to engage all their senses. They need to be touching stuff, feeling stuff, tasting it, basically be engaged with the learning and come out with a skill set. It has to be learned in a team environment, but essentially they have to be able to do something at the end of the day. If they can't perform an activity and do it with experience, they won't gain employment. So the key focus is on practical activities that will end up with a skill set. The program's residential, drug alcohol free, up to 30 weeks long. We cover seafood processing, vessel operation skills. That's because of the unique environment of a ship at sea. Key focus on communication skills, teamwork. To back up the alcohol testing and residential program, students are rostered on the weekends and they all turn up for alcohol testing Friday, Saturday night. For the people that are making an effort to give it up, it's great because it provides direct feedback. If they're making the effort, you can reward them for it. It's one thing saying you want to do this, but it's a whole different story getting those processes in place to make it happen. Right, school facilities, we have a hostel, 50-room hostel. We can accommodate up to 100 people there. It's a nice facility and it's well used. Used to be the old nurses' home in Westport, so it's a building with an interesting history. And it's also home for the Westport Toy Library. Just a plug for the local community there. They support us and we support them by giving them space. Westport Harbour, a small working harbour, lots of boats coming and going, vessels being unloaded. It's good for the students to go down and have a poke around, see what goes on down there. 16 Brougham Street, no other name for this, it's just our teaching facility. It's the old dairy factory in Westport. A bit of a rabbit warren, as you can see, but students tend to migrate into corners and get on with the business of learning. There's a wet room attached to this, a small processing factory, and there's also a net shed attached to this as well. Solid Energy Sports Complex, we do sea survival down there. These people are enjoying themselves, but a lot of people are fearful of the water. As you get towards getting in the water, they start to get quieter and quieter, and the odd person panics. So it's a nice, safe environment to ease people through this and get them competent in the sea survival skills that we think are essential. Right, practical training. If we start to look at it, what do we mean by it? If we look at knife skills, we want very little theory in it. So theory is not that important. They have to have the ability to use knives. They're an essential part of fish processing. So we handle them, sharpen them, care for them on a daily basis, get as much activity as we can. And one of the things that we do, keep people busy, is they carve little fish. When they come along to the school, they get a piece of wood, draw an outline on it, and for the duration of the program, they'll chip away at these fish. It's a nice activity. It strengthens up arms and wrists, gets them used to handling knives, sharpening knives. They need to be aware of who's around them, and they just proceed through this throughout the program, fills in a lot of time and develops some of these skills that we want. We find there's two kinds of students when they come to the school and start carving these fish. We've got the ones that do it the easy way. They're just about taking a broomstick and turn it into an eel, so they have the easy approach to doing it. We've got ones that do it the hard way. This started off being an anchor. It looks a bit like a hook now, and I think very soon it'll be a couple of bits of broken wood that we're never going to see again. But the key part of this is the students actually have engaged in doing something. It occupies all their senses. They're deeply involved in it, and it's the best way to learn something, to create experience. Vessel anatomy, instead of talking about boats, we build them. This one's the Amateur Mariner, as you've never seen it before. It's essentially cardboard boxes and glue guns and imagination, but these models are quite detailed. They get muster stations on them, all the sea survival gear. And it's a nice way to fill in time with most of these boats being built on the weekends. These particular ladies didn't build this boat, they just wanted to be in the picture. Right, this one they did build. I don't know what model this one is, but it was built over weekends. So it's about 2 days worth of work, and it keeps them occupied. And to say it again, it's a useful way to physically or imagine the vessels that they're doing, so they create these with imagination and get on with it. Right, net mending. All the students will go through or do net mending at the school, and before they can net mend, they need twine, so we don't allow them to do any net making until they get 20 or 30 metres of what I call personal twine, and this twine needs to be pulled out of the nets. So these people here are, got some nets there. They'll start to undo them. They get a feel for the knots. They start to undo them. They're handling the materials. They're fully engaged in it, and when they've got this twine, they'll be off to do some net making. Also, you can see that they're standing up. One of the subtle things that we've introduced recently is taking the chairs and tables out of the classrooms. I was starting to look around the place and I was seeing that my tutors are standing all day and the students are sitting down. When they're out to sea, these people are doing 6 hours on, 6 hours off on the factory boats. They're standing. So we reversed that round a wee bit, and it's just a very, very quiet way to toughen them up, ongoing exercise, and try and strengthen them up and get them used to getting out of their comfort zone and losing some of the comforts, tables and chairs. Right, if you're a student at my school, one of the things that would be compulsory, and we do on a daily basis, is fitness or exercise. You need to take part in this. You have to achieve well in it, put in a big effort before you can even be considered to go to sea. Most of the focus, the fitness is around teamwork, breaking people into teams. We're trying to teach communication skills, keep them busy, tolerance and giving and receiving orders under pressure. So we do competitive sports. We swap the leaders around, try and find the quiet ones, put them in charge. The more aggressive people have to be tolerant of those people, help them along their way. This particular activity is case racing, so fish cases, about 30 kg of weights in them, running around stacking them, all sorts of various competitive activities around it, and it gets very, very serious. We've even got school records of some of these activities. Nobody wants to be second, but the fitness is essential, the communication, teamwork skills are essential as well, and this is a nice way to see this out, bring this out in them. Timeline at the school, we start off doing a bit of processing training, and then we get people down to Tally's factory in Westport, normally 1 or 2 at a time. If they're struggling down there, we can get some one-on-one help, just to ease them through any rough spots. I'll then come back to the school. We'll do firefighting, sea survival, deck safety. These are the essential vessel operational skills that are required to work on a factory boat. We need to recognise this environment and train people for what they're going to be facing. When they've done that, we'll put them out on an inshore vessel, get them out for a week to 14 days, get them over seasickness, get used to getting out of bed, taking orders, and this is where they'll firm up their commitment. If I get a failure at this stage or someone that can't take it, it's not so bad. You know, it's 14 days out on a boat, it's not a major, and if the industry's not for them, that's fine, that's acceptable. They'll then come back to the school, we'll go debrief them, find out what they've done good, compliment on that, build up their esteem a wee bit, look at any weak points they've got, see if we can work on these weaker points so that they can get up to where they're employable. And when they're ready and the factory boats come in, we'll get them out for 6 weeks. All the students are drug tested before each work placement. We won't put anyone out that is not clean. That's generally a sticking point, well not a sticking point, that's where students will go if there's any issues. And we'd get them out. They also need a decent report at each stage. If they're not up to it, if they can't handle a week in a processing factory on land, they may make the choice to leave the program. They won't get through it. So it's a bit of a screening race, but at the end of the day, we're looking for people that are fit for purpose. Right, day at the schools, wake up, cleaning duties, roll call, training, exercise in the afternoon, and late noon practical skills. Fridays is a clean-up. We changed that. Personal hygiene is very important, so the Fridays is a big clean-up from 9 to 12 where the students clean up all the communal areas, toilets, showers, strip all their bedding, air out mattresses, pull all the drawers to bits and sanitise them, just trying to make that personal hygiene a habit. Why do they choose the industry? There's all sorts of thoughts going around about careers and various other issues, but at the end of the day, they want the money. All the students that come to the school, if they could only put down one thing, it's money. They want to come into the industry, they don't mind working hard, but they want to be paid for it and well paid, and the industry does have a reputation for paying good wages, so it's pretty easy to get people, and they're dead serious about it, but money is the big driver. Not too good on this button. That's better. Right, I'll go back a bit. Interesting, students been at school around about 6 to 8 weeks, they're drug-free, alcohol-free, they're fit, been taking part in these exercises, they have all the relevant skills. At this stage, they're confident, we're confident, it's pretty much nothing can go wrong, so we get them ready to go out in one of these deep water vessels. They'll turn up at the port, turn around, and these dreaded cell phones. The cell phone will go, and I just see students melt at this stage, that they're ready to go to sea, they want to go to sea, they'll get a text from someone, they'll hear something that they don't like, they suddenly realise that they're going out to sea, they're isolated, and they panic, and quite often they'll walk away at that stage. It's become more of an issue in the last few months, last 6 months, I don't know why, but it is. We needed to do something about it. At a recent stakeholder meeting, and thrashed around some ideas, and we've come up with a few things we hope will work at the school. Okay. The changes we've made at the school to try and get through this is to mimic that isolation, is bring in shift work, and I think we're one of the few organisations, if any, in New Zealand doing it. Twice a month we do the shift work. One of the periods it's from lunchtime Friday to Sunday, 6 hours on, 6 hours off. The 2 weeks later it's from the Friday through to the Wednesday, so it's about 5 days of shift work. The students get pretty tired during this time, but they're starting to react to it in a positive way. And we also take the cell phones off them. So they need to say their goodbyes before the shift work starts. We can get emergency calls to them, but just like a ship, we take these cell phones off them, lock them up in the safe, and they don't see them for a week. And it's been interesting, the reactions are mainly positive. The students are liking it, they're saying it's real. They feel they're better prepared for the shift work. They have some understanding of the isolation. few students rebelled against this, didn't like it. They also haven't performed during the weekends and are no longer with us. So as a screening tool, it's pretty effective, and we hope that it is going to make a difference in the future. Right, ex-students, 23 years of school's been going, over 3,000 enrolments in the pre-C programs, more than 2,000 into full-time employment, and more than 1,500 into the seafood industry. Right, at the moment, there's people come and go, but there's around about 80 currently at sea. We've got captains, mates, second mates, factory managers. We've got one assistant harbour master here in the South Island, and a lot of factory hands. And it just proves to me that one difference about our industry is that you can start at the bottom, you can start off processing fish, and you can work your way up to the top. And that's quite unique. It's one of the few places that offers that. And as I say, the only thing ever stopping you from achieving it is yourself. So set your goals high, just get on with it, and it's all there for you if you want it. Okay, looks like I've used up my time, so thanks for your time, thanks for your attention.